Hi everyone, Michael here. Hope you're having a nice Tuesday. It's rainy here in Krakow. I also hope you had a nice Easter weekend. I posted a few videos, mostly comedy videos, probably to somehow deal with my, uh, I guess, discomfort around Easter, and it's not necessarily to do with Poland, although although in Poland Easter is a bigger deal for people. Usually Easter and Passover happen at around the same time, so I'm focused on Passover. Passover is later this year than Easter, and so there, we're not really thinking about Passover yet. So I had this sort of weird amount of time to think about Easter, and not just think about Easter, but I and now in this sort of like post Easter rainy Krakowian malaise, I have been thinking about melancholy, and I don't really talk about this too much, or I don't get too personal, but I thought, I don't know why, but I thought today I wanted to just talk about melancholy. Um, I want to talk about my own melancholy, but the reason for that is it's not because I'm looking for sympathy necessarily, but I think that there's something about this move to Poland for myself that is helping me understand more about myself as a Jewish people, but also the Jewish people through the feelings that I'm having as a Jew in Poland. And there's a lot of melancholy and sadness connected to Poland for Jewish people. And I know that often that ends up translating into a kind of anger or a blame game that Jews direct towards Polish people, and there's a tension that ends up arising as a result, an unfair tension between Jews and non-Jewish Polish people that's unfair, and I talk about it a lot. I talk about it with Jewish people, I talk about it with non-Jewish Polish people, with non-Jewish people in general, because, yeah, I mean, the anger that Jewish people have um, doesn't deserve to be directed at Polish people. It should be to German people. And trust me, Jews have directed a lot of anger towards German people, and there's been a lot of work between Germans and Jews to find something that looks like reconciliation. Anyways, the point is that I want to talk about melancholy because I think that melancholy that I experience here in Poland somehow is a kind of key towards understanding who Jews became post war. The reality is that, yeah, there were 3.5 million Jewish people living here in Poland. This was the center of European Jewry, and for the longest time, Poland was the center of world Jewry. That was destroyed. It was totally destroyed. There are some arguments to say that some of it was preserved. There are parts of Brooklyn where people are living as they were in Poland. But, it's pretty niche. The reality is that who we were in Poland is gone. And that might seem like an obvious statement, but there is something so sad about really not knowing who we were, like really not intrinsically understanding it. We have stories, and of course we know a lot, but who we were ended in Poland. It ended during the Holocaust, and the melancholy that Jews have in relationship to Poland is because this is where we were. This is where we developed as a people, the Ashkenazi people, and Poland was also where we were murdered. We were destroyed. And after the war, the majority of the Jews left when they could, because there was just too much sadness. There was too much pain connected to this place. So of course, yeah, there were some Jews who stayed, but the majority left who could, and why wouldn't they? My grandmother had 6 brothers and sisters, and they all had full families, so husbands, children, so she had all these nieces and nephews, mother, father, grandparents, aunts, and uncles. They were all murdered, with the exception of a couple of cousins. There was nothing to compel her and most Jews to stay in Poland, because this place really was just a reminder of all the devastating loss. So I came back here as a way to try and reconnect to what was lost. But of course, what was lost is gone. It's gone. And it's impossible for me to be here and not experience this low-level melancholy. It's a feeling that I've grown used to. I was a kind of sad kid. There were problems in my family, kind of as a result of Holocaust, sort of tangentially. Moving back here to Poland is a kind of attempt at reconnecting to the life that was lost. It's the desire to be alive in Poland and to live a Jewish life. I wasn't really very Jewish before moving to Poland, but my kind of activity as a Jew grew exponentially since moving to Poland, because in a way I moved to Poland in order to be Jewish. It became very important for me to be publicly Jewish. Even this YouTube channel is connected to my desire to be Jewish, because in a way it only made sense for me to be Jewish coming to Poland, because whatever that kind of connection to Judaism was that my family had, I really feel like it was lost here. My grandmother and grandfather on my mother's side both came from religious families, but they lost God here because they lost their entire families. And so although we sort of went through the motions of holidays and this, we didn't we didn't go to synagogue on that side. We just didn't do anything, because they had basically become godless people, because the devastation was just too much. On my father's side, more people survived. Many more survived. They didn't end up being captured. They hid in forests, or they survived in Siberia. And so in a way, God was preserved on that side of the family. And so on one side of the family, there was this kind of religiosity that continued, but then on the other side, there was none. So I had always sort of felt like I was caught in the middle. My parents divorced when I was 4, and so I'd spend time with my father, and there was this expectation that we would keep kosher and we would do Jewish things, and I never understood it, and I never wanted to participate. I went to Jewish school until I was in grade 6, but I didn't like it. I didn't understand why I should value it. But then when I was on my mother's side, I felt like there was this kind of hole. When I would spend time with my mother's family, there was this like deficit of identity in a way. And so my move to Poland has been about trying to put the pieces back together. And, sometimes that's really full of joy, but sometimes it's just full of a lot of melancholy. It's difficult. And that difficulty, that melancholy is exasperated these days by what's happening in Israel. Yeah. So I guess on rainy days when it feels like the sky is crying, I feel more melancholic. I feel that sadness more prevalently within me. And I thought, okay, this might be an interesting opportunity to talk a bit about it and to share. So that's me. I hope that was okay to share with you. Thanks a lot for taking the time, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye. Love you.